Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today John Collins has opted in to his $26.5 million player option, averaging 19 points per game and 8 rebounds per game with 2 assists per game last season. He finished the season on a really nice note. His last 4 games had 26, 29, 28, and 22, and in 2 of his last 4 games of the season, he had double-digit rebounds, was putting up some good rebounding numbers at the end of the season as well. But it was an all-around good season. But he only played half the season, 40 games. I think partially due to some injuries, but also the fact that this Utah Jazz team wasn't a very serious winning team at all. But when he was out there, he was playing great basketball. Averaged 19, 8, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game, shooting 53% from the floor and almost 40% from the three, which was the second best, tied for second best of his career. He shot 39.9% in the 2020-21 season, shot 39.9% this season, 40.1% in the 2019-20 season. Those are his highest numbers in percentage from three-pointer. So his tied for second highest of his career this year in 8 seasons. So, really good three-point shooting season for him as well. But I will also note that, he's also, shooting more from 3. Now, look, he's not shooting a lot, only 1.5 attempts per game. That's not a lot at all. But that is the most it was 1.5 three-pointers made per game, but 3.7 three-pointers attempted per game. That was the highest of his career that he's ever had. So it was 1.5 three-point attempts made per game, and that was a career high average. And then the 3.7 attempts per game was the highest average of his career. So I think when you're attempting and making the most threes you've ever had in a season, and your percentage is still the second highest it's been in your career, that is really good. So and now he's opting into the $26.5 million player option. I think some might ask, well, you would think John Collins can make $26 million in free agency, if not more. I really think so as well. I think it's possible. If he would have opted out and become an unrestricted free agent, he might have made just a tiny bit less than $26.5 million. But it also gives the Jazz to potentially trade him. And I know there have been trade talks with a bunch of teams. The Lakers are one. I just saw a report about the Suns potentially being one team, but Bradley Beal shut it down. It was like Colin Sexton, John Collins to Phoenix for Bradley Beal and draft picks. But Bradley Beal shut it down with his, no trade clause, which feels like you're put in a prison. But I think that John Collins is someone who I fully expect to get traded. And this makes me think that you could see a John Collins trade tonight during the draft. And I'm just going to throw that out there. Or tomorrow during the draft. Because John Collins' player option decision wasn't due until tomorrow. And he did it early today. Now, that doesn't really mean that might mean nothing, because you've seen players, decide on their player option during this offseason, or before the NBA Finals even ended, and their decision day was not even close. So that might not mean that a trade's coming, but I think a trade is coming this offseason with John Collins. It might be today or tomorrow during the draft. It might be after the draft during free agency, but I expect a John Collins trade is on the way. Let me know your thoughts on the opt-in for John Collins in the comment section, and peace out.